Thank you, Eduardo. Thank you, Mindy. I am really honored to introduce Darren Parry. He's been a longtime friend of myself, my family, and a teacher to many of us in this state. You've read the bio, but let me tell you some things you didn't read about Darren. Yes, he went to Copenhagen to present. He's also been to Harvard, most recently this last November. He was with Terry Tempest Williams and her class. He does more in one day, and I am not talking an untruth here. After today, he will do 2 more presentations back at Utah State. But I think, having known Darren for so many years, one of the things that his intersectionality leans to education and children. If he hasn't talked to everybody's 4th grader, you need to find out why he hasn't talked to your kids, because he burns his rubber up and down the freeway in Utah and Idaho and other states, talking to the youth, helping understand about land, about the intersectionalities of Indigenous persons. Darren today is going to talk about the medicine wheel and holistic wellness, reframing disabilities in Native culture. And I'm really looking forward to hearing him. Another hero to me is his wife, Melody. She is an incredible support to Darren and his work. But probably the most, I'm going to try not to do a little teary here, but probably one of the most influential persons in Darren's life is May Timbimbu Parry, his grandmother. And if you've read his book, you know all about May, and you know about her advocacy work. I'm really excited for you to hear Darren.
That was awesome. Can you hear me okay? Good morning. So, long ago, in a time when the earth was young, there was a young eagle born high in the mountains. He was beautiful and strong and full of potential. His wings were large and beautiful and powerful, and he was destined to soar the skies with grace and strength, just like all the other eagles in his tribe. But one day, as he was learning to fly, an accident occurred. A strong gust of wind caught him off guard, and he crashed to the ground, injuring one of his wings. The young eagle could no longer fly as he once dreamed. His wing was broken. Even though it healed, it would never be as strong as it once was. The young eagle, who had once believed that he was meant for greatness, now found himself grounded. He struggled with the feelings of sadness and doubt. What am I now? He asked the wise old owl who lived in the tree. I cannot soar through the skies like the others. I am broken. I am not like them. The wise owl, seeing the eagle's pain, spoke gently. Do you know the story of the 4 directions? The eagle shook his head, no. So the owl began to speak. There are 4 directions in this world, the 4 sacred ways that the earth lives and breathes: the east, the south, the west, and the north. Each direction is a part of the whole. The east is where the sun rises and brings light to new beginnings. The south is always the direction of warmth, of growth, of understanding. The west is a place of change, where the sun sets and we let go of the old to make space for the new. And the north is a place of wisdom, where the cold wind comes to teach us about resilience and strength. The owl continued, these directions are not separate from one another. Each works together in balance to create a world as we know it. The east, the south, the west, and the north They never compete with each other. Each one has a role. The sun does not rise without the setting of the day, just as growth cannot happen without the time of rest. And though each direction brings different gifts, they are all connected. The eagle listened closely, but still the sadness in his heart remained. But what about me? He said. What direction am I now? I can no longer soar through the skies like the others. I have been broken. The owl smiled softly again. Your wing, though it is wounded, is not the end of your journey. It is just one part of you. Your strength is still in your spirit. It's in your heart. It's in your mind. The medicine wheel teaches us that this is not just one thing alone that defines us. It is the balance of all things, the spirit, the body, the mind, and the emotions. When one part of us is challenged, the others are called upon to strengthen us. You do not fly with your wings alone. Your heart and your spirit and your mind all work together to guide you. And though you may not fly as the others eagles do, you will learn to fly in your own way. The eagle, although still grieving, slowly began to understand. He could not return to the skies as he once had, but he began to see the world in a new way. He began to pay attention to the small things, the way the wind whispers in the trees, the way the rivers float gently along the mountain path. His heart and mind opened to the beauty that had always been there, but which he had not seen when he only focused on flight. In time, the eagle found a new way of becoming. He became a teacher to the young eagles, guiding them with wisdom and patience. He shared his knowledge of the world from a grounded perspective, teaching them how to honor the earth, listen to the winds, and live with respect for all beings. And though he could no longer soar through the skies with great strength, his wings still carried him through the world, carrying the lessons of balance, respect, and resiliency. When I look at a person with a disability, I don't see a broken body or mind that needs fixing. I see a whole being carried by the Spirit that has traveled through storms that I may not ever understand. I see a story shaped not just by their diagnosis or condition, but by their laughter, their wisdom, their resilience, their culture, and their dreams. The medicine wheel teaches us to see with all of our senses, to look not just at what the eyes notice first, but to honor the heart and the spirit and the community that holds the person up. To see a person through only their disabilities is to miss the fullness of who they are and the gifts that they offer to the world. The medicine wheel reminds us that we are all more than one thing. We are physical, yes, but also emotional, intellectual, and we're spiritual beings. Each of these parts is braided together, and when one is ever overlooked, the whole person can become invisible. A person with a disability does not live in their body. They live in their stories, their relationships, their ceremonies, their humor, and their ancestors' prayers. When we begin to see each other this way, it becomes complex and beautiful, and we begin to heal. Not just those with disabilities, but all of us, because we are all part of this sacred circle. And the well-being of one impacts the well-being of all. The medicine wheel teaches us that balance comes when we see each other fully, not reducing each other to our challenges, but embracing each other as complete beings worthy of dignity, respect, and belonging. And when we do that, we create a world where every person, every body, every mind, and every spirit has a place of honor in the circle of life. In our tradition, the medicine wheel is not just a circle, it's the path of life. The wheel is a map, it's a guide, it's a sacred tool that shows us how to walk in balance with the world around us. One of the most important aspects of the wheel is spiritual. Now imagine the medicine wheel before you. It's a circle. At the heart of it, there is a center of stillness where the Creator dwells, where the spirits of all things are born. From that center, all of us move. From that center, life flows. In the spiritual quadrant of the medicine wheel, we are reminded that our spirit is the core of who we are. It is the part of us that connects us to the Creator and to the earth, to the skies, to our ancestors, and to all living things. In many ways, the spirit is the quiet voice within, the voice that whispers to us when we feel lost or uncertain, or when the path ahead seems unclear. Our ancestors did not view disabilities as something to be ashamed of, nor as something that was broken. No, instead they understood that every part of a person, the spirit, the mind, and the body, and the emotions, are sacred, and each one has a purpose. And sometimes in ways that we may not fully understand today, what we considered to be a limitation is in fact a way for the Creator to show us something deeper, something more. A person's spirit, like a flame, does not flicker or dim because of a disability. It is strengthened by it. It is through our trials and challenges that our spirits grow in new directions. We are never alone. The spirits of those who came before us walk beside us, guiding us and teaching us if only we listen. Look to the elder who walks with a cane. Their steps are slow and deliberate. Their body may be frail, but the strength of their spirit is undeniable. Their stories, their teachings, their laughter, it all comes from a spirit that has been nurtured and tested and retimed over a lifetime. Their spiritual wellness is a testament to their resilience. They have learned to embrace the sacredness of all life, including their own, and they carry that within them as they walk the earth. In our native ways, we understand that each person's spirit is unique. The Creator gives us a distinct path, and the gifts we carry within our spirit cannot be measured by society's standards of what is normal. Those who might be seen as different in this world hold within them great gifts, a wisdom that goes beyond what the eyes will ever see. This is the power of spiritual wellness. It is the understanding that our spirits, our true selves, are infinite and unbroken. And when we connect our spiritual essence, we find the strength to rise above any physical or emotional challenges that we may face. As you sit with me here today, I invite you to reflect upon your own spirit. How does it speak to you? How does it carry you through life's challenges? When you understand the strength of your own spirit, you begin to see that true wellness comes not from the body alone, but from the depth of the spirit within you. And in that, you are whole. You are perfect. And you are sacred. And in that, there is power. There is medicine. There is life. We now turn our gaze towards an important part of the medicine wheel, the emotional quadrant. As we sit here together today, we know that emotions are often like weather, sometimes gentle, sometimes fierce, but always a part of our journey. Just as the sun rises and sets, our emotions rise and falls with the rhythms of life. And in the medicine wheel, we are taught that our emotions too must always be understood and honored. The emotional aspect of the wheel teaches us about balance. The balance between our joy, our sorrow, our love, and our fear. It teaches us that it's okay to feel deeply for ourselves and for the world around us. Emotions are the language of the heart, and the heart has no shame in what it feels. The heart cannot be told how to feel, just as the sky cannot be told when to rain or when to shine. When we speak of emotional wellness, we speak of the ability to listen to our hearts, to honor what is true for us in that moment, and to find peace even in the storms. But we also speak of the strength to weather that storm and the wisdom to know when it is time to release those things that no longer serve us. Now, imagine for a minute a tall tree, a strong tree that stands in the forest. Its roots go deep into the earth, and its branches reach far into the sky. It is battered by the winds. It is touched by the rain, and yet it stands. The tree does not fight the wind. It bends with the wind. The winds may howl, but the tree understands that to bend is to survive. And so it does with grace and strength. The same is true for us. Emotional wellness teaches us that we must bend with the winds of life. We must allow ourselves to feel the emotions that come to us, even when they are painful. For to fight them is to fight the flow of life itself. The storm will always pass. And after the storm, we are left with clarity. But what happens if we don't allow ourselves to feel? When we push down on our anger or our sadness or our fears? They become like a wound that will never heal, like a cloud that never clears. And in time, this hurt may turn into something deeper, something that affects not just our hearts, but our spirits. This is why the medicine wheel teaches us the importance of emotional balance. To feel deeply is a gift, but it is a gift that requires us to have some sort of responsibility with it. It requires us to honor the feelings we have, to express them, and then to heal from them. Emotion is not something to be feared. It's a part of our life. The tears that fall from our eyes cleanse us. The laughter that rises from our bellies heal us. The anger that we feel teaches us about boundaries about justice, about what we will fight for. And love. Love is the medicine that binds us all together. It is the force that unites us and makes us whole again. The emotional part of the medicine wheel teaches us that we are not meant to journey in this life alone. We are meant to share our burdens, to speak our truths, to walk alongside with one another with compassion and understanding. Man, especially today. It is through this sharing that we heal. When we open our hearts to others, we allow them to open their hearts to us. And together, we all become stronger. Now, let us move step by step to another part of the medicine wheel. We come to the physical. This body we carry through the world. This body that holds our spirits and mind and emotions. I hope we look at it as a sacred vessel, a sacred temple, one that carries the wisdom of the earth itself. The body is where we experience the world, where we touch the ground beneath our feet, where we feel the warmth of the sun on our face and the cool breeze against our skin. The physical aspect of the medicine wheel teaches us to honor this vessel. It teaches us that wellness is not just about the health of the body in isolation. It is about the harmony of the body and the mind and the spirit and emotions, all working together in balance. Let me speak of the teachings of the earth. The land beneath us is ever changing. Mountains rise and fall. Rivers carve their paths through the soil. The seasons shift from summer to winter, from spring to fall. But in all of those changes, the land remains whole. The same is true for our body. This body is a reflection of the earth itself, constant in its cycles, but always changing, always adapting. We were never meant to remain the same forever. And that is the gift of the body. Just as the earth teaches us to grow and to adapt, so too does the body. When we were young, our bodies were strong and quick, just like the running deer. We move swiftly without hesitation. But as we age, and trust me on this one, we slow down, like the river that meanders through the valleys. And in that slowing down, we learn something new. We begin to understand that the power of patience, the power of stillness, the power of listening to the body as it always whispers its needs. And what happens when we fail to listen? What happens when we push our bodies beyond their limits? The body speaks to us in many ways. It speaks through pain, through fatigue, through illness. But when we take time to listen, when we honor the body as part of the greater whole, we begin to understand its language. We learn to care for it in gentleness, in respect, and with reverence. One of the teachings of the medicine wheel is that we must care for our body as a sacred vessel, just as we care for the land. Just as the earth needs water and sunlight to thrive, our bodies need nourishment, rest, and movement to remain healthy. And like the land, the body needs to be in balance with all of the elements: physical, emotional, spiritual, and mental. I remember an elder one day telling me how to walk the land with respect. Walk with purpose, but walk with patience, she said. Feel the earth beneath your feet and know that every step is a prayer. You are connected to the earth in ways that you cannot see. The land is your mother, and your body is her child. You must care for her, and she will care for you. When we walk with this awareness, we begin to see our bodies in a new light. We no longer look at it as something separate, but something that is sacred. The physical is never a burden. It's a blessing. It is a gift that allows us to live fully, to experience the world around us, to touch the hands of those who we love. So I ask you, how do you honor your body? Do you walk with respect? Do you listen to its needs? Do you nourish it with food that is whole, with rest that is deep, with movement that is gentle? The medicine wheel reminds us that the physical is not something to be ignored, nor is it something to be worshiped. It is simply just a part of the whole, one part of a larger story that we are all living today. And through that respect, we find healing, we find strength, and we find peace. And now we come to the final direction of the medicine wheel, the mental. We have walked through this spiritual, the emotional, and the physical, and now we arrive at a place where the mind meets the heart. The mental aspect of the will is where the teachings of wisdom are held. It is where the thoughts and lessons of life are gathered, where clarity and understanding take root. It is where the stories of our lives are written, one thought at a time. The mind, like a clear river, is meant to flow freely, but sometimes that river becomes clouded. Sometimes it weighs us down with stones of fear, with anger, confusion, or doubt. The medicine wheel teaches us that the mind must be tended to just like the land was, just like the body, and just like the heart. We must care for it. We must nurture it and guide it to clarity, for it is through the mind that we come to understand ourselves, our purpose, and our place in this world. The mental aspect of the medicine wheel is about learning how to still the mind, how to find peace in the storm, and how to create space for wisdom that lies within. There are many ways to clear the mind. Some find peace in the quietness of a walk in the forest, walking the paths of the trees, listening to the songs of the birds. Other people find clarity in the stillness of the night, when the stars fill the sky and the world around them is at rest. And there are those who find peace in ceremony, in dance, in the drumbeat, or in the prayers that rise from the hearts. Whatever the way, the key is in the practice. The mind, like the body, needs attention. When we leave it unchecked, it can become cluttered with noise, stress, and worries, and endless swirls of thoughts. That's one I have a problem with. And when we do not care for it, it can become a source of confusion. But when we tend to it, when we clear away the debris and we create space for reflection, we can find the wisdom that we seek. This is the power of the mental quadrant of the medicine wheel. It is a place where we learn, a place where we grow, where we seek understanding. But it is also a place where we must learn to listen to the quiet voice within, to the voice of wisdom that speaks when we allow it to. And in that quiet, in that listening, we find the clarity to make the decisions that will shape our lives. The mental aspect of the medicine wheel teaches us that our minds are powerful, but they are not perfect. They are meant to be a source of wisdom, a tool for learning, a guide on our journeys. The key is to find balance, to trust in the wisdom that we have, and to remain open to the lessons that come from each new day. When we honor the mental quadrant of the medicine wheel, we create space for growth. We create space for learning and clarity. We understand that our minds are constantly evolving, and that is a beautiful thing. We are always learning, always growing, always seeking the next piece of wisdom that will help us walk our path with a purpose. So, as you sit here today, I invite you to reflect on your own mind. What thoughts clutter your mental river? What wisdom have you been given that you have yet to fully trust? The medicine wheel reminds us that the mind is a powerful tool, one that will always lead us to greater understanding, but only if we listen carefully, if we clear the clutter, and if we allow space for wisdom to flow. Let us care for our minds, just as we care for our bodies and our hearts and our spirit. Let us honor the mental aspect of the will by seeking clarity, by trusting our thoughts and remaining open to teachings that come from within. For it is through our mind that we come to understand who we are and where we are, and really where we are meant to go. As we gather here today, surrounded by the teachings of the medicine wheel, may we reflect on the sacredness of each direction, of each part as a whole. As we do, we begin to look at disabilities in a new way, a way that embraces the fullness of the human experience, a way that honors not just the challenges we face, but also the strengths and the gifts and the wisdom and the unique path that each one of us walk. When we view the world through the lens of the medicine wheel, we see that disabilities are not limitations, but are part of a vast circle of life. They are simply one aspect of the journey, no different from the spiritual, emotional, or physical or mental challenges that all of us face. All of us, regardless of our abilities or disabilities, must walk this path in balance. And in doing so, we see the interconnectedness of all things. The spiritual direction is the foundation of who we are, the place where our deepest truths are held. For those living with disabilities, the spirit remains unbroken, always full of light, wisdom, and resilience. The spirit teaches us that challenges do not diminish our worth or our connection to the divine. Instead, they are opportunities for growth, for transformation, and for understanding. The Spirit does not judge us for our limitations. It calls us to rise and to learn and to grow in ways that we have never imagined before. The emotional direction reminds us of our feelings, our joys, our sorrows, our triumphs, our struggles. When we live with disabilities, we are often asked to confront those feelings that others may not. And yet, in this challenge lies great strength. Our emotions teach us compassion and empathy and connection. Through the emotional lens of the medicine wheel, disabilities become a path towards greater emotional depth, teaching us how to walk through the world with open hearts and a willingness to understand one another's experiences. In the medicine wheel, there is no shame in our emotions. Instead, we are encouraged to embrace them, to honor them, and to use them as a tool for healing and understanding. When we turn to the physical direction, we are reminded that the body is a sacred vessel. It is the earth itself, constantly changing, growing, and adapting. A disability does not make the body less sacred. It simply teaches us how to honor the body's resilience and its ability to adapt. The physical aspect of the medicine wheel tells us that there is no one way to be whole, no single standard for what it means to be physically able. Some may walk swiftly, others more slowly. But I hope we're always moving forward, step by step, honoring the sacredness of each movement and each breath and each gesture. And finally, we come to the mental direction. The mind is where our wisdom and our understanding of the world takes shape. Disabilities do not take away from our ability to think, to create, to dream, to imagine. In fact, they may invite new ways of thinking, new perspectives, and new ways of being. The medicine wheel teaches us that the mind in all of its forms is a powerful tool for both understanding and growth. Those who live with disabilities may have to navigate the world differently, but that does not diminish their intelligence, creativity, or ability to contribute. The mind is a place and a space where all ideas, all ways of being are honored, and where the wisdom of each individual can flourish. The medicine wheel always asks us to look beyond the surface appearances. It asks us to see the whole person, the spirit, the heart, the body, and the mind as an interconnected and beautiful whole. It teaches us that true wellness comes not from the absence of the disability, but from the integration of all parts of ourselves. And in that integration, we find our strength. We find our wisdom. And that, my friends, is our superpower. As I close here today, I ask you to carry this vision with you. The next time you encounter someone living with a disability, whether visible or invisible, see them through the eyes of the medicine wheel. See them as full, whole people. Honor their spirit, their emotion, their body, and their mind. Recognize the wisdom and the strength they carry within them. And know that they, just like you, are walking this sacred path in this world that we live in together. Let us reframe how we think about disabilities. Let's stop seeing them as someone that needs to be fixed or someone that has limits. Instead, let's see them as something that enriches, that teaches, that adds to the tapestry of the human experience. Let us embrace the fullness of the journey. May we walk forward in the medicine wheel with open hearts, with open minds, and with deep respect for all ways in which each of us can contribute to the circle of life. Thank you very much.